This EchoPark Trucks and O'Reilly Series Betting Picks 2026 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Kalshi. Make real money predicting sports. Kalshi is available in all 50 states, and you get $20 free with promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi, promo code SGPN.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome into another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez, and it is time for one of our favorite days of the week where we get to cover not one, but two of the major circuits in NASCAR, the Truck Series, the Craftsman Truck Series, and the now O'Reilly Series, as they move to the EchoPark Speedway for their turn on this mile-and-a-half super speedway we've known as Atlanta Motor Speedway. But Cody, again, a lot to cram into a little bit of time, but we always seem to do it and do it well.
Yeah, we do. I'm excited to talk about both these series again this week. It's always nice at the beginning of the season when you have all three series running. As we get into the season, we'll have more weeks where it's just one of the series, which we don't hate either because we get to spend more time focusing on them. But love having three races, a little doubleheader on Saturday with both of these series. Still believe the truck should always be on Fridays, but whatever. We'll take it, right? Doubleheader on Saturday. I'm not going to complain. We're going to work a doubleheader into this show. It all works out.
Indeed. Books making us hold our breath quite a bit on these ones, though. Still not releasing odds in a timely enough manner, although thank you to 365 for getting some in there.
I was actually impressed. When you have the trucks involved in the Wednesday show, sometimes it can be dicey, but yeah, we got enough. Pretty much everything I think we're going to get. Well, no manufacturer stuff really for the O'Reilly series, but outside of that, I think we have most of what we're going to get. Maybe some top 10s down the road too, but
top 10s would be nice. I would definitely enjoy some top 10s, but we'll take what we can get right now. We'll just give it right back to you. But Mark is checking in the chat saying first. He is always first. Hi. Who's your pick to win at Atlanta? Well, nobody's going to win in Atlanta. People are going to win at EchoPark.
Hampton, Georgia. Oh.
And unfortunately, Christopher Bell not in either one of these races this week.
Marcus definitely has the bell clicked. He's getting the notifications right when we're going live because he's always jumping in right away. And you're welcome, cousin Danny. We did. I called your boss earlier, made sure I knew what time you'd be on your way home so we could sync up the show with you.
That's the way it works. But yeah. So anyways, this is the Xfinity or the O'Reilly swear jar.
It's so hard. It's crazy. It's hard to change things, right?
You know what? This feels like when you're in a new relationship and you're so used to saying your ex's name, and next thing you know, the first thing out of your mouth is, "Oh, hey," and then you're like, "Oh
no."
Ooh. If your relationships last long enough to get to the next level, then you can stop doing it. But like for that first couple of months where you're just so used to saying somebody's name, especially when you've been with them for what, 4 or 5 years, you're like, hey, Xfinity. I mean, O'Reilly.
Yeah. Xfinity's been, what they took over, 2013, 20. I feel like it was somewhere around there. Maybe a little after that, after Nationwide, but Yeah, we'll get used to it. We're getting there. It's O'Reilly's kind of flowing off the tongue a little better now. By the end of the season, we won't even remember Xfinity existed, Rod.
No, we will not. And we'll just every once in a while come across something that reminds us of them and then be like, oh, no, never mind. That goes in the trash. But
remember back when they used to call this the Xfinity Series?
Listen, remember back when you didn't have the SGPN app and you couldn't find everything all in one convenient place? Well, that problem's solved. Now, to get all of your favorite shows on the network, just download that SGPN app, get all of the free picks, all the free podcasts in one easy place. And you never have to worry about calling it by the wrong name. So go download that app right now in your app store. Cody, now that that's out of the way, we are in Hampton, Georgia at the EchoPark Speedway for both the O'Reilly and the Truck Series. Like you said, both on the same day, which is fun, like a little doubleheader action, but it definitely makes for a long Saturday. So buckle in.
It does. So clear the calendar. Make sure you don't have anything going on Saturday because we got us a lot of racing. So really looking forward to it and excited for it. We talked yesterday, this EchoPark Speedway, formerly known, the track formerly known as Atlanta Motor Speedway, of course, Rod. Very similar to Daytona last week in the drafting style, but smaller, 1.5 miles compared to 2 miles. It's more narrow, so that's going to condense the action. You have the tire wear that's built into it as well, both with the track surface and the tires they bring here. So it should be really exciting racing. Again, kind of star-studded lineups, especially in the Truck Series once again, and some good names in the O'Reilly race as well. So I think we're in for a pretty strong couple of races on Saturday.
Indeed, although I did see, I know we said there's really not a lot of news, but I did see the what was posted in the Discord about the rules changing a little bit for the involvement in these series now and how that impacts and the age limit and stuff like that. So there's a lot of news out.
But I was thinking that was from December, but I was because we were having a conversation because we were trying to figure out the Brent Cruz situation. We were talking about future prospects. Again, great reason to jump into Discord. We have random conversations about all kinds of stuff. But I was trying to remember which races Cruz could run, which he couldn't because we didn't see him last week at Daytona. We won't see him at EchoPark this week, but we will see him at COTA and then Phoenix. But then we won't see him at Vegas and Darlington because he doesn't turn 18 until the end of March. So he can't run on tracks bigger than 1.25 miles. But they did amend the rule so that he could race on some of the other stuff. So it was sort of the Brent Cruz rule that was established in the offseason.
Love it. Okay. Well, then my little coat, I've been dealing with solar companies all morning long. So my eyes glazed over when I was in Discord for a little bit. So I was like, okay. I guess I didn't catch that part, but all right. Thanks, Cody, for the update. Another update, Slow Roll saying, what's up, guys? Weather for Saturday not looking good. I did look it up. In Hampton, Georgia, Friday is partly cloudy. Saturday looks like the sky is crying. And then Sunday is bright and sunny. So
we should have kept the trucks on Friday, just like I said. Sunday triple header. Buckle up, folks.
Oh my God, could you imagine? That'd be insane.
That would actually be. I don't think I would hate that. Like do it like they do with the international games in the NFL. Like green flag is 9 a.m. for for the Truck Series, and then just run racing all day, baby. I could get into that.
That'd be a bang for your buck type of a situation. Right? That would be a lot of fun.
Just make a day out. They should have like one date a year where it's like triple header day. Like everybody clear your calendars for Sunday, whatever, X day. All right. Ben Kennedy, I know you like to change things up and mess around. There you go. New idea for you.
I wonder, logistically speaking, somebody's head just exploded when they thought
yeah, well, there's only 2 garages on all these tracks. How are you going to get cars in and out? Yeah. Logistics, details. Figure it out.
Not my problem. Somebody else smarter than me can handle all of that. So, all right, Cody. Well, if there's not a whole lot of news, I say we just start getting right into the picks because that is what we're here for. So let's take a look first.
We got 2 series to cover. So a lot of action. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. The Freight 8 Racing 208 from the EchoPark Speedway in Hampton, Georgia. We are set for 135 laps in the Craftsman Truck Series on this 1.540 mile paved track, 207.900 miles. We know these go by very, very quickly. The Truck Series comes here once a year, so there's not a ton of data on some of these drivers to pull from as we've done it before. And of course, as we know, this track has been configured in a super speedway manner since 2022. So that's even still less to draw from. But there's still a lot of familiar names in this race, Cody, and there's still a lot of folks that are super contenders and some pretty, it's a heavy hitting field.
It is a heavy hitting field, Rod. We have 36 entries for 36 spots, so all of these trucks will make the show. The number one truck, the Tricon All-Star, if you will, truck, has a guy by the name of Corey Heim. We'll see what he's capable of doing in these trucks, Rod. He's going to return to the Truck Series, of course, the reigning champion over there. The greatest truck driver ever, if you will, Kyle Busch. He's going to be in the HendrickCars.com number 7 truck for Spire Motorsports. Ty Dillon is stepping down for the Ram free agent. He's the free agent driver of the week in the 25. Ricky Stenhouse, he's also back in the trucks in the 45. John Nemechek back in the trucks in the 62. And our guy, Rod, Carson Hocevar in the number 77 for Spire Motorsports. You love to see it.
You said my weird. It sounded like you said our. That's not how you say my. That's
well,
definitely...
I mean, how many episodes into this, Rod, are we? What's mine is yours. What's yours is mine. We're basically married at this point.
I was about to say, are we common law?
Common law marriage.
Yeah. In most states,
I think it's after 700 and 713 episodes, whatever. Like after that, it's common law. I think that's valid in Nebraska and California.
Pod married. That's what it is at this point, right? So fine. I'm coming for half of your stuff, Cody. That's
my wife does accuse me of spending more time with you than her. So
she's not wrong. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, yeah.
Sorry, Cody.
It'll happen.
Other wife. I mean.
Yeah. So pretty loaded field. Pretty excited for that. Checking in with the chat again. JDK says, "Can you imagine how drunk you would be after watching 10 hours of straight racing? Don't we do that every Sunday for NFL anyways?" And Nev says, "Wasn't there a triple header at Pocono a few years back?" So he did a double header where it was a Saturday Cup race and a Sunday Cup race, which it's unfortunate that didn't get a real true shake because that was supposed to happen. I think it was 2020 was the first time, and then obviously everything changed and we ended up with a bunch of double headers anyways. And so I felt like it didn't really get a good shake, but I'd like to see more of that again. And they talk about wanting to cut the schedule down or have more off weeks. That's a great way to do it. Honestly, obviously not a lot of great things came out of COVID, but Wednesday night races was a lot of fun. If you weren't watching NASCAR during COVID, we had Wednesday night Cup races and Sunday Cup races. Like it was like you got 2 weeks within a week because obviously NASCAR was the first sport that came back, but we were into the season by the time they started going back to racing. And so they made them up and they got all the races in. Granted, not everything that was initially on the schedule because some states couldn't go to or whatever. And they kept things closer. But yeah, we had Wednesday races, Sunday races. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, the Saturday, Sunday thing, I think they should try it again.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it. It would definitely make life a lot easier for those of us who cover the sport religiously and have a lot of fun. Slow Roll saying, "Come on, Rod, you're a closet Kosovar groupie." I'm way in that closet then, if that's the case.
He's deep in there. We'll pull him out eventually.
That closet goes about as far back as the wardrobe in Narnia. That's how far back that thing goes. I might as well be in Narnia for how deep I am in that one. But yeah. All right. So since we have set this race up, I feel like it is time to start getting into the bets. But before we do any of that, let me tell you about our friends over at Kalshi, a real money prediction market legal in all 50 states. Kalshi has a ton of trading options for your favorite sports. And besides sports, they got tons of other markets, including politics, entertainment, hell. You can even trade on the weather with Kalshi. You could trade on anything like what is going to be the top U.S. Netflix show this week for those of you out there watching Netflix. A ton of you think it's going to be the reality check, that Inside America's Next Top Model documentary. Boy, everybody loves them a good documentary, right? 68 cents on the yes that everybody's going to care about what Tyra Banks did about 25 years ago with that reality show that launched Adrian Curry's career and all that other good stuff. $100 investment gets you $148 on that. Or maybe Bridgerton thinks that's 1 cent on the yes. That means a $100 investment on the Bridgerton will get you $10,000 if you think Bridgerton's going to be the top U.S. show on Netflix this week. New Kalshi customers get $20 when they use promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi, K-A-L-S-H-I, promo code SGPN. How about our friends over at Rebet? We're also brought to you by Rebet. Rebet is the #1 social sports book and casino out there. It's available in 35 states, which means probably included in yours. Texas, California, we're looking at you. Get in on the action with Rebet Plus. Get a 100% purchase match up to $100 with promo code SGPN. That's Rebet, promo code SGPN.
Could you spell Kalshi for us again, Rod?
Can you use it in a sentence, please?
Kalshi is the #1 place to go to for your, I don't remember what it's called.
Kalshi.
Damn it, Rod.
Kalshi. Kalshi?
Boom. Nailed it.
Yes.
Spelling bee champion Rod Villagomez. Kalshi, #1 place to go, Rod, for your prediction markets, I do believe is the tagline.
So happy. If I failed that, Sean and Ryan were going to call me into the hauler. So I did not want to be called into the hauler for that.
That's right. TK checking in, our friend from New Zealand, Rod. Says, will be interesting to see Heim without his usual individual team from last year. He should slot in well in time, but the #1 team probably not quite as elite as the #11 team. We will we'll talk about Heim here in just a little bit. And I'm going to tell you right now, it was the driver, not the truck. So, spoiler alert for the coming conversation. But we're going to start with the top 5 market. Bet365 is the one place that has truck top 5s up so far. So keep an eye. Might be able to find some better numbers as other things post, but they are usually pretty good, Rod. We are going to start with one, John Hunter Nemechek. Going to take his top 5 plus 225 over on Bet365 there. He's made a couple of starts in the truck series in this. So again, as you look through things, and maybe we should have mentioned this, I guess, probably on the Cup Show yesterday, but don't look at anything prior to 2022. 2020, in between 21 and 22 is when they reconfigured the track, put it into the style. So really everything before that is obsolete. It doesn't really matter. I mean, you could certainly toss it in. Like a guy like Kyle Busch, if you want to make a case for him, was really good here in the truck series at Old Atlanta. That doesn't really translate to New Atlanta, but is what it is. So anyways, Nemechek has made a couple of starts here in this configuration. 24th place in 2022, but then he came back here in 2023, snagged a 3rd place finish. Now he did get a win and a couple of top 3 finishes on the old track, so there's extra brownie points for that. But has been, 24th in the first start here. Still a drafting track, still a super speedway, right? But 3rd place in 2023. And again, we talked about him on the Cup Series betting episode yesterday. Last week at Daytona, looked amazing in the truck race there, and then also looked very good in the Cup race as well before he ended up getting that damage in the wreck. So John Hunter Nemechek, top 5 plus 225. Gio Ruggiero. Nobody I'm more excited to bet on in this episode than Gio Ruggiero, Rod. Top 5 is 4-1 for him. He looked outstanding last week in both races. Looked good early in the Xfinity O'Reilly race, and then ended up getting caught up in a wreck, unfortunately, and ruined his day kind of early. But here is his truck record. He's young truck driver. He's only made a handful of starts, right? But here's what he's done on drafting tracks. 11th place last year in his 1 start here. Pretty good, right? He has 2 starts at Daytona. 2nd place last year in the spring race. 2nd place last week as well. So that's pretty good average finish of 2. And then at Talladega, he won in his only start there. So you look back at what he's done, 11th in the first start here, but then 2 second places at Daytona and a win at Talladega. This kid is a really good drafting track driver, and we've only scratched the surface. He's still young. He's still getting to know it. Still getting, we've only begun to see what Gio can be. So I absolutely love him. Top 5 at 4-1. I think this is a great, great price. And then right before we got on, they dropped the top markets for manufacturers. I'm going to throw some long shots out there because I do think Atlanta, and you'll see this as the card kind of continues, Atlanta, especially in these 2 series, I think will tend to be more chalky, but it's still a drafting track. Chaos can happen. Craziness can happen. Frankie Muniz is 90-1 to be the top finishing 40. Wasn't that far off from hitting top 4 last week. We're running it back at 90-1. It's an utter chaos play. You're going to need crazy chaos, but if Malcolm in the middle can squeeze through the middle of one of these wrecks, he might cash a 90-1 for you. So give me Malcolm in the middle, top finishing Ford, 90-1. Again, only so many Fords in this race. I'll take it.
It was such a good day for him last week. I was very impressed with the fact that he, because a lot of times he would get involved in wrecks and his day would end early, and it's so frustrating for him at the end of the day, and for him to be able to finish 16th, like that's not bad for him, especially after he was willing to hang it up and kind of walk away, and then had to convince himself, no, I still got stuff left in the tank. And he does. I mean, a top 16 finish for him almost is as good as a top 10, given what he had to go through.
It's a great run. And again, he got to the end of the race. That's what you're looking for. Smith obviously wins the race, Chandler Smith. And then you also had Majeski in the top 4 there, but those guys get caught up in a last lap wreck or something like we saw in the Cup race. Boom, suddenly 12th place now is currently the top finishing Ford. So Muniz right there in that next group. And that's what that's the chaos play, right? It has to be utter chaos and calamity. But if he can find his way through, he could certainly be the top Ford.
Yep, indeed. And as for Gio, I'm so excited about him too. If you wouldn't have had him in the card, I would have definitely had him in the card. He's going to be somebody that's going to be in either one of ours every single week. So keep an eye out for him. Speaking of Chandler Smith, yes, he did win the race, but he only led 8 laps in that race. And it wasn't even an impressive win for Chandler Smith, right? That was sort of like a, really, did he win?
Wow, that was an in quotes win for Chandler Smith. Rod just firing dogs at Chandler Smith here. Jeez.
But I didn't feel like that whole race did not boil down to that, right? That should not have. I feel like he just sort of snuck in there and ended up getting what he needed to get at the end. Whereas I don't know that that's going to happen again this particular week. Christian Eckes is in a head-to-head with him over on 365. I'm going to take the Christian Eckes side over Chandler Smith. This is at plus money, and this is really the only reason that I think I'm going to take this is because it's plus money. For Christian Eckes, this is almost a coin flip between him and Smith on this track. Christian Eckes finished 32nd in the last time he was out here in 2024. Remember, he didn't race in the Truck Series in 2025, but he ended up starting 5th in that one, led 20 laps on this track. Remember, there's not that many laps out there to be led in this particular race. So 20 laps of this race is a pretty decent size of the race. He had brake issues, was unable to finish and finished 32nd pretty much. But he won in 2023, finished 16th in 2022. So those are his 3 sample sizes. But that 2022 race, he was in the 98 truck instead of the 19 that he pretty much made famous in the Truck Series. So, yeah, he won this race in 2023 and started in 5th, but had brake issues in 2024, which obviously makes him a really good candidate for this. And of course, Christian Eckes wasn't that bad last week either, right? He finished in 3rd place overall. And he was another one of those guys that you were almost not hearing of until the very end, right? He did lead a lap late in the race, but he managed to put himself in the right place at the right time in 3rd place. I don't know. I said, Chandler, that truck race did not leave a very big impression on me, but Chandler, though, on this track, a 4th place and a 5th place finish in 2022 and in 2025. He's got some experience on the drafting part of this track.
Oh, and there goes Rod. The Gremlins got him. The books obviously did not want you to bet on Chandler or on the Christian Eckes side of this. So They know the books don't want you to take the plus money side of things, Rod.
Corporate gambling just pushing me out of this one. Yeah, no, listen. And then in 2025, last year in the 38, he did finish in 5th place. But I feel like Chandler Smith got off to a much better start last year than he ended the season. And, yeah, he got off to a really good start this year, but still not convinced. I feel like Christian Eckes, we didn't see the best of Christian Eckes last week. And that's a 3rd place finish. So I feel like the best is a win. So I'm going to give him the edge over Chandler Smith.
Yeah, I think these are 2 guys that are pretty good at drafting track races. You're getting one of them at plus money at plus 110. So it's hard to argue too much with that because that in and of itself, pretty solid. The head-to-head market's interesting this week. I couldn't find any truck head-to-heads I liked. I did want to mention, though, you can get Carson Hocevar over Kyle Busch at plus 190 on Bet365. Now, I'm a spoiler alert about to make a case for Kyle Busch. That's why I didn't put this on the card. But just in principle alone, even if you're going to bet on Kyle, plus 190 in almost any head-to-head on a drafting track, as much as you might hate Carson Hocevar, probably worth exploring, Rod.
Exploring as Indiana Jones explores things or explores like Dora explores things?
Whichever floats your boat. It doesn't matter. Switch checking in the chat. Good to see you, Switch. I assume there's probably 2 big favorites to win the truck and O'Reilly races. You are correct. And we're going to talk about those and how we feel about betting on them in the outright markets here in a few. TK checking in as well. Smith won the same way Reddick did, having a dedicated pusher with him versus the rest. Hey, pays to have friends, Rod. So there you go. All right, next up for me, we're going to head over to Fanatics for a top 3. I'm a little bit surprised at this number. You can get Corey Heim to be a top 3 finisher plus 255. So this is a case where now I don't have to pick. You got Corey Heim in this race. You got Carson Hocevar in this race. You got Kyle Busch in this race. I think those 3 guys are going to be great. Honestly, I said this in the Discord earlier. I really see this being the Heim and Busch show. I think that that's the way this race is going to go. Chaos and calamity can happen. That's why we bet Frankie Muniz top forward, right? But those 2 guys, I think, are going to control this race from the word go. And I think that barring something crazy happening, they're going to be the ones that are going to be in control of this race. So to get Corey Heim top 3 at plus 255, you didn't even get him plus 255 to win most races last year. And yes, it's a drafting track, but I still think this is a great deal for Heim. He won here in the spring of 2022, had a 3rd place finish in the spring of 2023, 23rd last year, 34th finish as well. So not always great, but he's had some good runs. He won Daytona last year. He won 2nd place in 2024, 2nd place at Talladega last year. So overall, we know how good of a truck driver Corey Heim is. That extended itself to the drafting tracks as well. Basically, anytime Corey Heim didn't finish top 3 last year was because of wrecks, because of craziness. That's probably the only way he doesn't cash this again this week. TK brought it up earlier. Well, he's in the 1 truck now. Is that going to be any different? I really don't think it is, because I think we're going to see as the season goes on, not that Honeycutt's not going to do well, because I think he will, but he's not going to be elite at the level Corey Heim was, because it's not just the truck. Yes, the truck is amazing, which this is still a Tricon truck, so it's not like he's coming in and, racing for Joe Blow Racing because nobody wants to sponsor him or whatever. He's in a Tricon truck still. We've seen the 1 truck be capable when it's in capable hands. Corey Heim has capable hands. So top 3 plus 255, I think that's a great deal. And then, look, we don't go to drafting tracks, and I don't bet on Spencer Boyd. It happens every time because that's the way it goes. Dude cashed me a massive ticket back in 2019 when he won Talladega, and he bet on him every time because he'll show up occasionally. Didn't work out for us last week. Not going to work out most time because it's a long shot for a reason. But you can get his top 5 at 60-1 over on Bet365. Again, you're going to need some chaos. You're going to need some stuff to happen. Top finishing Chevy at 150-1. Now, again, there is a lot of Chevrolets in this race, as we often talk about. But you look back at last week's race, Rod, in the Truck Series, and, of course, the NASCAR app decides to close right when I go back to click on it. But
first place finish for Spencer Boyd.
Yes, but I was looking at Chevy-wise, like Christian Eckes in 3rd, Stenhouse in 6th, Ankrum in 9th. Like, it's not as many Chevrolets as are in the field. They weren't 1 through 10. It was you barely snuck 3 into the top 9. That's not really crazy. Now, all of a sudden, 2 of these guys get wrecked in Eckes and Stenhouse. Boom, you're really opening it up. So for being such a long shot, that's why I like Spencer Boyd. It's 60-1 for the top 5. It's 150-1 for the top Chevy, rather. But 20, he's very consistent with this track. DFS play for you for sure. 21st, or 20th, 21st, 22nd, and 19th. So all 4 finishes right there within 3 spots. But he had 4th and 5th place runs at Daytona here in the last couple of years. Won that Talladega race. He's the type of guy that can put himself in position if all the cards fall right. Again, you're going to need chaos. That's why it's such a long shot. But it's a drafting track. We could get chaos. Think about it. You got Kyle Busch. You got Corey Heim. You got John Nemechek. You got Ricky Stenhouse. You got all these guys up there trying to have a measuring contest up front. Who knows what can happen? Suddenly, Spencer Boyd sneaks through, snags top Chevy, snags a top 5. Be a solid day for you. So Heim top 3 plus 255. Again, the chalkiness of the race. You're playing into that. And then you get the Boyd side of things where it's the chaos type of the race. 60-1 for the top 5, 150-1 top Chevy.
You're always told to diversify your investments, diversify your markets, right? Long shot markets are diversification markets.
We're gonna take this safe stock over here that's returns us good returns 90% of the time, but this one stock over here, Rod, just might take off. There's always an Apple and a Starbucks in there somewhere.
Indeed. Spencer Boyd, an apple a day keeps the bankroll. I don't know, whatever.
Announcer voice, disclaimer, this is not trading advice.
We are not licensed traders.
Yes.
We're not giving you any
license
advice.
number doesn't exist.
Yeah, right. Don't try to search it in the database. It's not coming up. All right. How about the top 5 market for me? I will take a good stalwart man in Ben Rhodes. I can't believe it. I was looking because I was scrolling up to the top of the list for this, and I was like, where's Ben Rhodes? And I was like, is he not? And I scrolled down, plus 450. Ben Rhodes for a top 5. The disrespect. Unbelievable. In 2 of the last 4, Ben Rhodes has had a top 5 finish in his truck on this track. In 2022, a 2nd place finish. In 2023, a 5th place finish. In 2024, 28th place finish, but of course that's going to happen. And then last year, a 7th place finish, only 2 spots outside of that top 5. I get it. I know this field is loaded, but they're always loaded in this early in the season for this one. And as far as that 2024 race is considered, as far as the 2024 race is that his high position was 5th place. So he was in the top 5 in that race as well. Unfortunately, like I said, he ended up finishing 29th, but at one point he was running inside of the top 5, and in just under half of the race, he was in the top 15. So, to me, this is like, I don't understand why he's plus 450 for a top 5, which I guess I should probably understand it given the fact that there is Kyle Busch, there's Corey Heim, there's Christian Eckes, there's all these, but like we said, there's always been that pretty much top heaviness in this race. Last year's race featured Kyle Busch. It also had the likes of all of these guys that we come to know and love as well. Corey Heim was also in that race as well. So yeah, it's no stranger to having big names in this race. And I just, like I said, that alone, and I think that's why we like sometimes with these Cup guys come down, is they do kind of push the price for the full-time drivers into a spot where you like it, because it doesn't always end up chalky the way it does when you're talking about maybe even the O'Reilly series, where when the big guys come down, a lot of times they completely dominate. Truck drivers, for whatever reason, they seem to hang well with the Cup guys more than the O'Reilly guys do.
We're so due for a Ben Rhodes race. TK checking in says, based on since I've been watching, which has just been the last couple of years, Rhodes has not impressed him at all. And I get that because he's definitely been down. But, man, Ben Rhodes is the type of guy that goes out and just wins the most unexpected races. You're like, whoa, where'd he come from? We haven't seen or heard from him in weeks and getting close to years at this point. He's a Ty Majeski spin away from being a 3-time series champion. He is a 2-time series champion. But, yeah, my how the mighty have fallen. But Ben Rhodes is the type of guy that's going to strike one of these weeks. It's going to be almost out of left field, out of nowhere. He's been good here before. You look at this loaded field, what better time for him to show up and, find his way to a top 5 finish for you.
And he finished 12th last week at Daytona in that craziness of everything that was crazy. So it's not as if he was like 28th or 30th in that race. He was still top 12. So, yeah, I mean, to me, I'm ready. Let's go, Ben Rhodes. What's up, Charles?
Absolutely. Charles checking in, says, missed you guys. Oh, you missed us. We've been here the whole time, but that's okay. We missed you too. And gambling on race cars, we had missed that. So let's fucking go. Cheers to another profitable season. James Rainwater checking in as well. What's up, fellas? Been watching for just over a week. Well, welcome. We're glad to have you.
James.
Got to have some fun last weekend, and I'm here for forever now. Oh, that's a commitment. Let's go. Thank you guys for what you do. I'm going to have to go back at the start. Yeah, go back to the start and then get it all in. You can listen now, whatever. But Fitted Jones checking in and calling Ben Rhodes a Mickey Mouse champion too. But, hey, you got it done in the format that was there. It is what it is. You got to give him credit.
I tell you what, somebody called me a Mickey Mouse champion because Mickey Mouse is worldwide, right?
I'll take that over no championships too.
Yeah, right. So, call me Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, we've often actually compare him to Joey Logano. It's probably not respectful to Joey Logano to compare the two because Joey is definitely one of the greats. But in the sense of oftentimes runs in the back, it's hard to almost predict when he's going to be good, when he's not. Pops up and has good races, and then boom, all of a sudden, holy shit, he's the champion. And if you've never seen Ben Rhodes' post-race interview after winning the first championship, dude was just absolutely tanked. He was just chugging beers, and it is glorious. Go watch it. You will not regret that.
You will not regret it at all. Okay, we've got outrights to get to, but I want to do that with no interruptions. So let's do this first and come to you with our friends over at Underdog. Underdog's got you covered for pick'em for almost every single sport out there. Get in on Underdog and win up to 5,000 times your entry. Olympic hockey, the ladies going up against Canada. Oh, what a matchup this is going to be. How about Haley Knight, the United States captain? I'm going to give her higher than 1.5 points. That's a 1.08 multiplier over there on Underdog. Look, she tied the Olympic record for goals and points. She is just a machine over there, the captain, Hillary Knight. There is no way she is not going to put up her best effort against the heated rivalry that is Canadian hockey. So give me Hillary Knight higher than 1.5 points in that game Thursday night. God, I love the Olympics. It's so much fun. Underdog's got a brand new offer, too, for new customers. Play just $5. Get $75 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code SRACE, SGPN. Tell you about our friends over at Rhythm. Rhythm has been on a heater for college and NBA picks. Super easy to sign up and run predictions off the house model or make your own and play with the sliders. If you're looking to go premium, use promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off of your first month. Download Rhythm. Use promo code SGPN25. I was watching the men's free ski, right? When they jump and they twist and they turn and they do all this stuff. And the American guy landed this just absolutely sick run. Never been done before. Everybody in the broadcast room was like, oh my God, that's amazing. Even he was surprised because he'd never done it before. And he just pulled it out for the Olympics, right? And then this guy from Finland, I think it was Finland, Norway. Anyways, he gets up, he does this trick. They're like, oh my God, that was really cool too. And then they give him a higher score on it. And I feel like we got robbed. But here's why I love the Olympics, Cody. It gives you life lessons because the dude that we all thought got robbed got on the interview and was like, dude, I wish I could do tricks like him. Like, I'm super excited that he won the gold because we're both trying to push the sport forward. And look, he's doing stuff that I wish I could do. So he deserves the gold any day of the week. He's like, this was just a really tough competition. And it came down to that, right? To whoever did once. And I was like, that is the most thing ever. I love Olympic sports.
Yeah, you love to see stuff like that. That's great.
Me too. All right. Speaking of being humble, how about people that are going to be humble when they cross the start-finish line in first place in this race?
Well, I am humbly thankful, Rod, that going into this, before the odds were even out, like I said, I mentioned in the Discord, I thought that it was going to be a Heim and Busch race. I never thought I'd have the opportunity to bet on both of them, but thanks to the way they let the odds out, you certainly can, and that makes me feel really great about this race. Again, at drafting tracks, generally you want to steer away from the favorites, but Atlanta, we've seen, especially Atlanta, be more towards the chalk, more towards Austin Hill winning 5 of the last 7, and then O'Reilly, we'll talk about that in a few, right? But that type of stuff happens more because of the style, because of the tire wear, because of the track wear, all this stuff. So I'm going to go to the top of the board, taking Kyle Busch to win this race at plus 265. Kyle Busch, the greatest Truck Series driver to ever do it. One here in 2025, one here in 2024. He's been really good at this track since it was old Atlanta, new Atlanta, doesn't matter. He's been great. And it's just, we watched Austin Hill at Daytona, and really he put on a clinic last week at Daytona once again, like he's done many times. But we saw it from Kyle Busch the last couple of years. It was almost like he was just messing with these guys, like toying with them. And it was almost like watching Dale Earnhardt on the 25th anniversary of his passing, but the way he could manipulate the draft and the way he could just whoop, whoop, and you're just like, oh, there goes that move. It's so smooth. Like, that's what Kyle Busch looks like at Atlanta in the trucks navigating the draft. So I love Kyle Busch this week. I think at plus 265, you get a great deal on him. Been great here. He's also Daytona. He's finished in the top 2 in 4 of his 6 starts in the Truck Series. Very good at the Truck Series drafting stuff. So give me him at plus 265. Then BetMGM has Corey Heim at plus 850. So you can not only bet Kyle Busch, but you could take Corey Heim as well. And now I feel really, really great about how things are. Talked about him earlier for the top 3. So we also have that. Either if he wins, we could double up on it. If Kyle beats him at the end, we can, cash the Kyle ticket and cash the Heim top 3. You're kind of setting yourself up for some different scenarios here. But Heim's been great here. Won here previously back in 2022. Won at Talladega last year, like I mentioned. Second place as well in 2024 won at Daytona last year with a second place there in 24. second place at Talladega last year. So very good on the drafting tracks. Again, I don't think the car's going to be an issue or the truck's going to be an issue, especially not at a place like Atlanta with the draft. So not worried about it there. So I'm taking both those guys. Then a couple of insurance plays. Gio Ruggiero, already talked about him, 25-1. Look how good he's been. The win at Talladega, a couple second places at Daytona, 11th here last year. If some chaos happens, if those guys take each other out, if they have problems, whatever, Gio is going to have himself in position to win this race. And at 500-1, Rod, you think I'm not betting on Spencer Boyd? Absolutely, I am. The score has him listed at 500-1. It has to be ultimate chaos. It has to be a wreck fest. We might be 7 overtimes deep. But Spencer Boyd's the type of guy who can put himself in position. He's done it before. 500-1? Throw a couple bucks on it just in case, Rod. We're not going to pass up on Spencer Boyd.
If Spencer Boyd does win this race, we are retiring.
Tomorrow might be the last episode of the show if Spencer Boyd wins, because I don't know that we can ever top it. So it's like,
go out on the highest note possible, right there. Yeah, everybody gets the retirement home. I love it. All right, well, I'm gonna play a couple of them. Well, at least one of them a little closer to the vest. We talked about Eckes a little bit earlier in the show. He's 14-1 to win. I mean, listen, the guy's already got one in this configuration on this track, so I'd be hard pressed to think that he can't do it again. And like I said, I don't feel like we saw the best of Christian Eckes last week. I feel like he needed to get back into it, right? Because obviously last year he didn't even run in the Truck Series full time, and he was trying to concentrate more on the full-time O'Reilly Series ride. And now that he's full-time in trucks again, give him that race to get acclimated. Now he's on Atlanta where he's been good. 14-1 is a really good price for him. And then Tyler Ankrum, one of the guys that's near and dear to my heart. I'm going to take him. He's 30-1. He finished 9th last week at Daytona. And really, again, Tyler Ankrum, one of those guys, he's not going to get a ton of camera time. He's not, the broadcast is not going to say, oh my God, Tyler Ankrum. They're going to go, Tyler Ankrum, look at him hanging around. But he usually tends to do that in this particular race, especially in this race. A 7th place in 2024 and a 3rd place in 2025. So he was 3rd place here in that 18 truck last year. 3rd place, drafting track could very easily be 1st place by the end of it. So I do like Tyler Ankrum, 30-1 for last year's 3rd place finisher. I don't know why, but he's that price, but I'll take it.
Yeah, Ankrum's your guy, Rod. That's all I got. He's your guy, and you were right about him a lot last year, so I'm not going to argue with you.
Please don't, because I just can't handle it. I can't handle anymore. All right, we'll go over the Truck Series picks at the end of the show, but it's time to move on to the O'Reilly Bennett Transportation and Logistics 250. That is where we are at for Hampton, Georgia, at the EchoPark Speedway. The 163 laps around this 1.540 mile paved super speedway. 251.020 miles, Cody. Again, this is the drafting track, but like you said, this does not produce the same level as a Daytona or Talladega. There's actually some really good hard racing here, and I don't think it'll be boring even for a second.
Yeah, no, it certainly will not be boring even for a second. We do have 39 entries for this one, Rod, so only 38 drivers will run the race. So one driver will go home in the O'Reilly Series. That's the only one. Cup Series, everybody's making it. Truck Series, everybody's making it. But O'Reilly will send one unlucky driver home. Mostly sticking to the regulars this week, much so than the other series. And just in a general sense, they've got Cody Ware listed as the number 30 driver, so he'll be in that one. Ross Chastain's going to be driving for Jordan Anderson in the 32. A little bit sad Jordan himself is not driving that car after how well he did last week for us at Daytona. Was hoping to get another opportunity with him over there. Gio Ruggiero is back in the 19 car in this one. Of course, that's the Brent Cruz ride. So if you've not been following, Brent Cruz is going to be full-time in that car, but being only 17, he can't run at the bigger tracks to start the season here until he turns 18. So he'll be in that one. And I believe that covers all of the notables, Rod, as I quickly look through the rest of this. Yeah, I don't see anybody else that's jumping out to me. So it's pretty much, other than that, kind of your normal crew.
Indeed, it is the normal crew. So then, if we're going to start going, let's start going on this.
Let's do it. All right, I'm going to jump to a head-to-head. Last week I took Love over Hill because, it was just it was a case of they're both very good there. Hill had some tough luck at Daytona recently. Are people not going to work with him? Turns out none of it mattered because he's the master. He's just great at super speedways, great at the drafting track stuff. So this week we're reversing it. We're taking Hill over Love. It's minus 115 on Caesars. It's actually much bigger number. Other places I saw him at minus 130 somewhere. So if you could find the minus 115, Caesars has that. That's a great number, I think, for Hill to go over Love. And it's not that Love isn't good, because I made a lot of cases last week as to why he is good. And, 6th, 16th, 6th, 12th in his 4 starts here. Those are solid. But for Austin Hill, Rod, he finished 26th here in the fall, so that was a pretty bad day. Before that, he won 3 in a row here. Before that, a horrible 12th place finish, then 2 more wins and a 2nd place finish. So he's won 5 of the last 7, and in 6 of the last 8, he's finished inside of the top 2. That's pretty solid. But not only has he done that, he's absolutely dominated some of these races. Last spring, he led 146 laps. One of the things we've seen at Atlanta that's been different is when these guys get out front, they can kind of control the pack and everything and just cruise out there. Hill's very good at that, 146 laps. Spring of 23, he led 108 during that win as well. So he's just been amazing here. He's won 5 of the last 7 races at a drafting track here. He's obviously been great at Daytona. He's also been great at Talladega. There was a couple Daytona races and there were things happened. And you wonder to yourself, like we did last week, like, will people stop working with him? It doesn't seem to matter because he's just that good at it. And after what we saw last week, how do you not bet on the guy? So we're going to take him to beat his teammate Love, minus 115 over on Caesars.
Reluctantly, I am going to go with this too. I mean, we talked about it last week where Hill did not have the best luck at Daytona, which is why we faded him. Unfortunately, as we talked about in our betting episode, How to Bet NASCAR, James, by the way, we told you that obviously in gambling, past performance does not always dictate future performance. And therefore that was one of those instances. But unfortunately, when you get punched 5 out of 7 times, you're going to duck the next time that somebody swings at you. And it's kind of the way it is with Austin Hill here as well. So I'll take you on that one.
And like all he has to do is beat one guy, which he's done in 3 of the 4. Obviously, the 26th place in the fall was when he didn't. But Love's not even finished better than 6th here. For as good as he's been at Talladega and Daytona, he's been less good here. So we're kind of following the same principles of taking the guy that's been better at that track. It didn't work out for us last week, but I feel good about it this week.
Was that after he got slapped on the wrist and really started when he got the points taken away? Was that the race that he got?
No, it wasn't. That might have been around that time. I'm trying to remember because this race was early. It was July, but that might have been around that time when, and that might have been part of it, right? Was, okay, now people aren't going to work with him. I feel there was one race last year, and it maybe was this one, where people were purposely avoiding him. Mm-hmm. We just saw him getting out, so. And I don't remember exactly what happened in that one. I'm not overly concerned about it because I don't care if he got caught in a wreck if nobody worked with him. It didn't matter after what we saw last week and what you've seen on this track previously. He's just that good that I'm going to take him in a head-to-head. But, yeah, that could have been during that time when, you know how it is when you get your hand slapped and it's like, fine, I'm just going to do things this way. Like, well, last week we're back to just Austin Hill laying it out there like the boss that he is.
Indeed. Although I do want to note that you had this matchup on the other end of it when we first got in the dock. And I was going to take the opposite side of this head-to-head, but you ended up.
Well, I researched my way out of it, Rod.
Did you?
So this head-to-head you're about to give, initially I had put the other side in the same box. And then as I researched it more, I was like, oh, this is not a good head-to-head. And then I noticed you had the other side. I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to back Rod on this because face value, I liked one side. I got to the numbers and I was like, oh, maybe I was wrong about this guy.
Yep, indeed. Well, how about my matchup? It is Carson Kvapil taking on Sammy Smith in the head-to-head here. I'm going to take the Kvapil side of it at minus 115. Kvapil doesn't have a ton of track history on this one. In fact, he's only got 2 races, but in the last of which he was a second-place finisher after starting 24th in that race. Carson Kvapil in that one car. Here's the thing, man. You know I love JRM. Like, if you've listened to this show for 15 minutes, you know that I love JRM, and JRM is my team and all those drivers. And last year we talked a lot about Connor Zilic and how he was supposed to take on. And even in the beginning of the season, we were like, well, Connor Zilch is going to be good, but we don't know how good. Carson Kvapil is supposed to be good, but we don't know how good. Obviously, Justin Allgaier is still in that, doing his thing. And Sammy Smith is still in his car doing his thing. And, we were sort of, we didn't know, but now we know. Now we know that all of these drivers all have the talent enough to be really damn good. And Carson Kvapil with that second place finish last year in the fall race here just learned. And then he started in 8th place in that spring race. So he was starting right at the top. He has speed here right off the bat. Unfortunately, in his very first attempt at Atlanta, didn't turn into much, but the second one he learned, started from the back and ended up in the front. As for Sammy Smith, his average finish here is 13.5. He had a 33 place finish last year, 4th and 7th in the 2 previous races to that, but 10th and 17th. It's not as if it's been completely horrible. This was between both Gibbs and Junior Motorsports, so he's always been in one of the elite teams in the sport. But, it's not, Sammy Smith is not somebody that jumps off the page and makes you go, yeah. He did finish 5th here last week at Daytona. Carson Kvapil finished 7th. So it was a couple of place difference between these guys there. But like I said, I am so high on Carson Kvapil's potential to just outshine a lot of the other guys in the garage, except for maybe Justin Allgaier this year. But yeah, I feel like he's got a good thing going for him in Atlanta. I'm sorry, at EchoPark, and I think he'll cruise his way to at least a 1-spot finish better than Sammy Smith.
Yeah, and like I said, I was initially going to be on the other side. So like TK says, I'd say Sammy is the better super speedway driver, which I agree with in a general sense of over his career, he's been pretty solid at the super speedways. Kvapil, I was trying, but then you start to look, and like you mentioned, he's had some good results. The last time we were here, it was good. That's where I kind of talked myself out of it. But, like TK said, more likely to get in trouble. There is that with Sammy. And Carson, I'm still not to the point of trusting Kvapil completely, but enough that I'm not going to take the Sammy Smith side of things like I initially had at the dock route.
Beautiful. See, I was right. Just kidding. It doesn't really matter at this point. It only matters on the day of. So, all right, Cody, where we go?
Next up for me, going over to the top 5 market, Gio Ruggiero pulling double duty. He's also going to be in the O'Reilly race. Like I mentioned, got taken out early last week. Not going to hold that against him. 6-1 for a top 5 finish for Gio. I just made the case for how good he's been in the Truck Series. He's been absolutely amazing over there. The 1 start in O'Reilly, not going to hold it against him, but 11th place in the truck race last year, the 2 second places in the trucks at Daytona, the win at Talladega. Those are his only starts, and they've all been good in the Truck Series. So I think he's going to rebound from getting caught up in it last week. Top 5 at 6-1, I think, is an absolutely great number for a guy that has proven to us already in a short amount of time, hey, I know what I'm doing on these drafting tracks. I can get it done. And again, this is the O'Reilly series is not a loaded field in a general sense. Another year of it being a weaker field overall. And you don't have Kyle Busch. You don't have Corey Heim. You don't have Carson Hocevar. You don't have John Nemechek. You don't have Ricky Stenhouse. All those guys are not in this. Ross Chastain's in this one, which notably not on either of our cards, probably for a decent reason. But yeah, so give me Gio top 5, 6-1. And then Dean Thompson going back to the well there, 13-1. Unfortunately, had mechanical issues last week, let us down there. So that's how it goes. 35th place in his first start here at EchoPark Speedway. Not great, but bounced back last year in the summer race with an 11th place finish. Also 5th and 6th in both stages in that summer race. So he was running up front all day long, found himself there at the end. Last week, the mechanical issue, like I mentioned, but 7th and 8th place finishes last year at Daytona. So in his short O'Reilly Xfinity career, it's been good finishes for the most part outside of, one bad run in his first race here at Atlanta. Fine, get used to the track, bounces back and does well. Mechanical issues last week, that happens. I'm not overly concerned with these Sam Hunt cars. I think they're going to continue to be fine and get better as they've, expanded to multi-car team and all that. But Gio Ruggiero top 6 plus 600. This is for the O'Reilly race again. And then Dean Thompson top 5 at 13-1.
Yeah, Gio's going to be he's going to be just fine. I have a feeling that we're going to see a lot of Gio over the next couple of seasons, just mature and eventually get into a cup ride.
He's
I feel like
one of those guys that's pretty high up there on that. Hot prospects was a hot topic in the Discord today, Rod. But
yes,
he's one of those guys that he's going to keep rising on that list as we continue to see more out of him.
He would be a Gillette Young Gun if there were still Gillette Young Guns. I think that's appropriate in saying that. Slow Roll saying, Hot Rod, you don't love JRM as much as you love Carson. Oh, never mind. Yeah, you're right. You got me figured out. You guys know.
Not as a big JRM stan, as you'll notice.
I am a stan for sure. Is that what the kids are saying? Sure. All right. Speaking of stands,
probably not.
this is my Cory Day stand showing. Cory Day, top 5, 8-1 over on Bet365. The thing about Cory Day is you're probably not going to cash this bet. I guarantee you're probably not going to cash this bet.
Wow, you really sold it, Rod.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it for you, right? This is super speedway racing. It's probably not going to cash. We talk about that all the time, and this is one where at 8-1. Okay, he started in 6th at Daytona in his first Daytona start last week. Right, that was his starting position. He is fast. I know there's a learning curve. I know that rookies just need some time to take, but this guy, he spent 61.6 laps inside of the top 15 overall at Daytona. Unfortunately, got caught up in that late caution that ended up costing him a lot and everything pretty much. But I'm still convinced that this kid's fast. I'm still convinced he's got plenty of friends out there. He can very much be a front runner. I mean, you look at like 25th down got collected in that race, and that was a huge hit for everybody out there in Daytona last week. So yeah, of course, if a rookie's going to get collected, he's going to get collected on that day one, but he learned some stuff. I'm sure he got out there and figured out how to pack race and how to play nice with people and how to stay out of trouble. And again, if we think that these Chevys are going to be grouping together, if we think that the folks in JRM are going to be fast, well, Cory Day is pretty much one of those cars. Now, he's not, 100% a JRM car, but by all rights and account, he might as well be. So the equipment's there, the talent's there. I just want the luck to be there, right? I want him to be able to pilot his way to a top 5. I want a little bit of chaos enough to make him, and not him not be involved in it, but for him to kind of sail his way to a top 5. 8-1's worth speculating on for a top 5 for a talented driver in good equipment.
I don't know. I don't think it is. I'm not interested in Cory Day at all at this type of track. He doesn't have much drafting track experience. We didn't see much out of him last week. I don't know. I need to see it, I guess, from him before I'm going to be sold on it. I know he's the next big thing. I know it's a Hendrick car. That should count for something. 8-1, that's the case you can make because it's this drafting track. I don't know. I think he's got some stuff to learn still.
I'm sure he does, but I'm sure he's going to learn quick on the job.
Well, hopefully for your case, he will, Rod. All right, outright markets. You can call me Mr. Chalk for Saturday, but that's how I see these races going down. Austin Hill is plus 250. I read off the stats earlier. He's won 5 of 7 races here. It's insane how good he's been at this track. You saw it last week. If you didn't see it last week, I don't know what else I could show you. I mean, he just put on a master class. It doesn't matter what these guys do. He's 6 chess moves ahead of them, and he is so good at manipulating the draft. He's so good at manipulating the air, and it just looks too easy for him. He doesn't have a Kyle Busch to go up against. He doesn't have a Carson Hocevar to go up against. He doesn't have a Stenhouse, a McDowell. None of these guys are in this race. It's just Ross Chastain, who, again, not overly concerned about. So Austin Hill plus 250, honestly, it might just be a deal. And I've said on this show before, I know Cousin Danny will definitely tell you. I've said before, you just can't bet a guy at plus 250 on a drafting track. But we are willing to change when things warrant the change, and Austin Hill warrants the change. Yes, there's a lot of things that can go wrong to not cash this bet. So I would not get invested like you would on somebody plus 250 next week at Coda when I tell you to just throw the entire bank on SVG next week, Rod, because I will be doing that. But don't do that this week. But Austin Hill is the guy to bet at plus 250 at the top. And then you just take some insurance plays in case we get the chaos. You build in for that as well. Ryan Sieg at 30-1. He's not actually been that great at Atlanta, to be honest with you, lately. Now, he started good here the first couple of races, 10th and 15th and 22, 11th place in 23 before a 37th, a 22nd, a 32nd, a 20th, a 30th. So I don't really trust him. I don't want a top 5. I don't want it head-to-head. But Ryan Sieg, we've seen throughout the year, is great at manipulating the draft. We actually didn't bring him up last week for the first time maybe ever since we've been on the show as far as the drafting track goes, because he was like really short odds. I think he was like 14-1 or something. It was no good way to bet on him, but the odds have slipped a little this week. Wasn't overly impressive last week. This is a shot kind of in the dark, but he's been good on drafting tracks over his career. We bet on him tons and made a lot of money on him in the drafting tracks. So going to lean into that. 30-1, I think, is a great number. Gio Ruggiero is 35-1. I don't need to tell you any more about the kid. We've talked about him enough. Harrison Burton at 50-1. This is a deal. This guy just won a Cup Series race a couple of years ago at Daytona. 10th and 13th last year in the AM racing car. That was solid. 6th place at Daytona last year in that car. 8th and 13th at Talladega. Keeps himself in the mix. He's won a Cup Series race drafting before. You're telling me he can't win an O'Reilly race at 50-1? It's worth the shot, no doubt about it. And Dean Thompson is 80-1 at the score. That's a little bit of a bigger number over there than other places. Talked about him earlier. Love the mustache. Got to bet on the mustache when we get the chance, Rod. I mean, look at that mustache. It's
so gorgeous.
Oh, man, it's just that. If that doesn't make you want to bet an 80-1, I probably can't help you.
This is the only show out there, the only NASCAR gambling show out there that will tell you bet the mustache for sure. I absolutely love it. Dirty Rag saying Allgaier or nothing for me. Look, I love Allgaier. I do, Dirty Rag, and you know how much I love JRM in total. But on this track in the drafting configuration, 31st last year, he had a runner-up finish in 2025 in the spring, but 30th, 28th, 17th, 29th, 7th, 34th. It's hasn't been good for him drafting in the EchoPark Speedway. So buyer beware. I will cheer for an Allgaier win 100,000%, but I'm not necessarily sold on it. But what I am sold on is Jesse Love, Austin Hill's teammate, plus 350. When you look at this kid on super speedways and on drafting tracks, right? Just a insane. He started on the pole, Jesse Love, in 3 out of the last 4 at EchoPark, right? His first 3, by the way. And then when he didn't qualify on the pole, he started in 5th. Turned those into 6th place finishes in 2 seasons, and then a 12th and a 16th. So yet to find a win at EchoPark. However, he does have a win at Talladega and all top 10 finishes. He started on the pole at Talladega in his last 3 races at Talladega and started on the outside pole in his very first start. Finishes a 1st, 6th, 3rd, and 10th at Talladega. Well, how about Daytona? Well, he has started on the pole once in that one, but has 3 straight top 10 finishes, including a victory in 2025 in the spring race there. So look, if it's not Hill, it's Love, right? Both of these guys are going to be pushing each other around for most of the race. If the field decides to just abandon Hill and Love has nothing better to do than to just drive around and leave his teammate in the dust, then that's what's probably going to end up happening, right? We're going to get a really close finish. It'll probably be Hill and Love within a couple of spots of each other, if not right one against the other. And here's the thing about these guys, right? About these Childress guys, especially on drafting tracks and them being so close to each other. There's no team orders. You go out and you win, right? If it's, you don't push Austin Hill to the win, you push Austin Hill until you get to win, right? And that's what Love will end up doing if he gets the chance. And I think he could get that chance. And at plus 350, like you said, with Austin Hill, it's plus 250. Well, his buddy Jesse Love is 100 points better than him. So I'll take the easy side of that and say Love gets his first win in EchoPark Speedway this week.
Well, I can't say I love this one since I'm on Austin Hill, but if you choose to choose Love, then you certainly can. I'd say pick your poison between these 2 guys. Look, we know these are the best 2 at drafting tracks. These cars are the best at the drafting tracks. I know there's some concern out there. Maybe the handling won't be as good for these RCR cars at Atlanta, but you look back at Hill's record here, and I'm not overly worried about that. It's not going to be as hot as the summertime. So when we come back here next round, which the trucks don't come back in the summer, I don't believe this year, but and they haven't most. But for O'Reilly and Cup, it'll be completely different in the summertime because of the Georgia heat. That'll certainly play a factor. Not going to be as warm this weekend, especially with weather weather, I guess, always exists, but with crazy. Wow, weather always exists. Okay, anyways. Pick your poison. Choose love. Choose Hill. Bet on the guy you won, whoever made the better case, I guess. But I'm a Hill guy myself this week.
And I can't argue with you. I mean, that's the thing. Like with Hill, 5 out of 7, you just can't argue with it. And you're going to have to go with that, or you're going to have to eat some of that because, it's almost like a DFS play. You have to have him in some of your lineups. You have to have some money on Hill this week because if he wins and you're like, well, you told me not to. I didn't tell you not to bet on Hill. I just said insure yourself in other ways. And Jesse Love's probably one of the better insurance policies out there. So, all right. Get out your pen and paper. Time to go over our plays for this EchoPark weekend for the trucks and the O'Reilly series. I almost said it. Didn't say it. The Eckes O'Reilly series. All right. I started you off in the truck series, the Freight 208. Eckes over Chandler Smith at plus 110. Then I gave you Ben Rhodes as a top 5 truck at plus 450. I said Eckes would win this at 14-1, or if he didn't, Ankrum would win it at 30-1. And then in the O'Reilly series, I gave you Carson Kvapil over Sammy Smith at minus 115. And then Cory Day, top 5 car at 8-1. Jesse Love at plus 350 to win the race. In the truck series, Cody gave you John Hunter Nemechek, top 5 truck at plus 225. Gio Ruggiero, top 5 truck at 4-1. Frankie Muniz, top Ford, 90-1. Gave you Corey Heim as a top 3 truck at plus 225. Spencer Boyd, top 5 at 60-1. And Boyd, top Chevy, 150-1. Gave you Busch at plus 265, Heim at plus 850, Ruggiero at 25-1, Boyd at 500-1 to win the truck series race. And then, of course, in the O'Reilly series, Cody gave you Austin Hill over Jesse Love at minus 115, Gio Ruggiero top 5 at 6-1, Dean Thompson top 5, 13-1. And then, of course, the outrights, Hill at plus 250, Sieg, Ryan type at plus 3,000, Gio Ruggiero 35-1, Harrison Burton 50-1, and Dean Thompson 80-1 to win the race at the EchoPark Speedway. Cody, hold on. There it is. There it is. All right, buddy, we made it. I almost didn't think we were going to. I thought we were going to have to shift the DFS as the day started going on, but thanks to 365 for bailing us out.
Bailed us out. Good to go. Yeah, it should be a fun doubleheader. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. We'll be able to get both these races in on Saturday. Have us a ton of fun.
Ooh, weather. It exists, as Cody has found out recently.
As we've discovered, if you learn nothing else from the show, Rod, weather exists all the time even.
Cody was today old when he learned that. Can we trade on Kalshi how soon it takes Cody to realize there's weather?
Oh,
that's we could trade on whether or not the weather in LA is going to turn sour here pretty soon.
You could trade on the weather around here, and you never know what you're going to get. 75 yesterday, and it's going to snow tonight. So yeah.
Well,
that's how we roll in the Midwest.
This morning out here, it was all bright and sunny, and now it's all gloomy again. So, yeah, maybe I need to go.
Yeah. Went from 70 to 65. It's tough out there for a while.
Hey, it was like 37 this morning. I don't want to hear that.
Oh, wow. That's pretty brutal.
It was actually pretty brutal. I had extra blankets on and sleeping in everything I have. But, yeah. All right.
Must be rough.
Then let's turn everybody out so they can go either warm up or cool down, however you have to do it out there.
That's right.
But, yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Good to see all the new names in the chat, new faces. Shout out to everybody who's been listening and watching. We appreciate it. Keep rolling with us, especially as we get into more quote-unquote normal tracks the next couple of weeks. The chaos of the super speedways these first couple of weeks is always an interesting way to start off the year. Then things kind of settle in. So looking forward to it. Follow me over on the X at @Husker_Zeeb. You can find all of my stuff over there. Yeah, see you guys tomorrow for some DFS fans.
Yep, that's where we get to actually just let our hair down and talk about some craziness that is DFS. I know, right? Like we've both got a lot to let down. Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Thanks to everybody who's been following me lately. I've been topping up with some new followers every day. It's great to know that you guys are liking the show and enjoying it. So keep doing that. Like, subscribe, comment, do all the stuff that keeps these shows rolling. We notice, the bosses notice, and it's very much appreciated. So, like Cody said, we'll see you tomorrow with some DFS picks and a lot more fun from the EchoPark Speedway in Hampton, Georgia. Till then, join us on our never-ending quest to make NASCAR betting fun again. Let's go racing and let it ride.